Far above the Arctic Circle, on the remote archipelago of Svalbard, lies one of the world's most hauntingly beautiful abandoned settlements. Pyramiden. Once a thriving Soviet mining town, Pyramiden today stands frozen in time, a relic of the Cold War era preserved by the extreme polar climate. With its crumbling buildings, eerie silence, and the perpetual daylight of summer or the endless darkness of winter, Pyramiden is more than just an abandoned town. It is a living museum of Soviet ambition and Arctic resilience. Founded by Sweden in 1910 and later sold to the Soviet Union in 1927, Pyramiden was named after the pyramid-shaped mountain nearby. For decades, it was operated by the Soviet state-owned company Trust Arktikugol, and at its peak in the 1980s, it was home to over 1,000 residents. The settlement was designed as a model socialist community in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. It had apartment blocks, a cultural center, sports halls, a school, a hospital, a swimming pool, a greenhouse, and even the northernmost statue of Lenin in the world. Everything in Pyramiden was designed to prove that Soviet life could thrive even in the harshest climates. Life in Pyramiden was unique. The town was self-sufficient, with fresh vegetables grown year-round in a heated greenhouse and livestock providing meat and dairy. Residents enjoyed cultural events, sports competitions, and film screenings. The cultural center hosted concerts, plays, and dances, ensuring that even in the dead of Arctic winter, there was entertainment and a sense of community. The Soviet government heavily subsidized the settlement, sending supplies by ship during the brief summer months. For its residents, Pyramiden was both a workplace and a utopia in miniature, albeit one surrounded by glaciers, polar bears, and temperatures that could plummet to -40 degrees Celsius. But the dream could not last forever. By the early 1990s, the collapse of the Soviet Union brought economic difficulties, and Pyramiden's remote location became increasingly expensive to maintain. Mining operations slowed, and in March 1998, the last coal was extracted. Just months later, in October, the town was officially abandoned. Residents were given a few hours to pack their belongings before being flown out, leaving behind personal items, books, and everyday objects that still remain today. The rapid departure created an eerie time capsule. Classrooms with chalk still on the blackboard, library shelves filled with Soviet literature, and a grand piano in the cultural center, waiting for a pianist who will never return. Today, Pyramiden is one of the most accessible abandoned towns in the Arctic, attracting adventurous travelers from around the world. Tours operate from Longyearbyen, the main settlement on Svalbard, usually by boat in summer or by snowmobile in winter. Visitors can walk through the empty streets, explore the cultural center, and stand in the shadow of Lenin's statue, gazing toward the mountains. The dry, cold climate has preserved the buildings remarkably well, making it possible to glimpse life as it was decades ago. Interestingly, a small part of Pyramiden is no longer completely abandoned. In recent years, Russia has maintained a small caretaker presence during the tourist season, with a few staff members living in one of the renovated buildings to guide tours and maintain safety. While the coal mines remain shut, the settlement has found a second life as a historical attraction and an eerie reminder of a bygone era. Pyramiden is more than a ghost town. It's a story about human determination, ideological ambition, and the fragility of isolated communities. It represents the extreme lengths to which nations went to showcase their power during the Cold War, even in the world's most unforgiving landscapes. For urban explorers and history lovers, it is a rare chance to see a Soviet settlement untouched by modern redevelopment. For photographers, it offers surreal Arctic light, dramatic mountains, and the strange juxtaposition of human structures against endless wilderness. And for those who visit, it's a place that lingers in the mind long after leaving. The echo of footsteps in empty hallways, the creak of frozen metal, and the haunting beauty of a place the world forgot. Whether you see it as a Cold War relic, an Arctic adventure, or a monument to human resilience, Pyramiden remains one of the most fascinating abandoned locations on Earth. In a time when most ghost towns crumble under the forces of nature, this Arctic settlement stands defiantly preserved, silent, mysterious, and waiting for the rare traveler who dares to venture to the top of the world.